One add to the mix would be Brandin Cooks, the Texans receiver, who is still only 28.
That's crazy.
I mean, it feels like he's been around the NFL forever because he's been traded and traded and traded and traded and traded. The Browns have entered the conversation as a possible destination for Brandin Cooks. That would reunite him with Deshaun Watson, obviously. The Texans reportedly want a second-round pick for Cooks, which is an impediment to keeping it happen. Now, it used to be he was traded for a first-round pick every time he was traded. The most recent time he was traded it was for a second-round pick. The Texans want to flip him and get back the second-round pick they gave up to get him. I think the Rams were the team that traded him to the Texans. He's gone Saints, Patriots, Rams, Texans,
right.
I think.
I think you're right. Right.
He was a first-rounder of the Saints, traded to the Patriots for the first-rounder, plus, traded to the Rams for a first-rounder, plus, and then traded in 2020 to the Texans for that second-rounder. He's available, and again, it's the same reason that the Seahawks should be thinking about getting rid of DK Metcalf. We don't have the quarterback to get him the ball consistently. Let's flip this now. Let's get assets now. Let's help rebuild for the future now. And you have a team like the Browns out there who've already picked up Amari Cooper. You add Brandin Cooks to a mix that has Deshaun Watson at quarterback eventually. You got a pretty potent receiving core and passing game.
Definitely.
In Cleveland.
Ready to go. Like a group that's ready to go right off the bat. You had that with Donovan People-Jones and Schwartz, like we've talked about before. David Njoku, those two running backs. That would be a pretty damn good, tried and proven unit right there. To your point, again, it takes away he's a rookie wide receiver. We hope he is what he is. Brandin Cooks is a really good football player. And people out there might go, well, then why might he be on another team here soon? Well, okay, there's some issues here. He has a concussion history. That's scary. He's not real big. And because of that, I think teams are always a little afraid to go, wait, I don't know if I want to do a long-term commitment and throw a ton of money at a guy like this. Concussion issue, not very big. I think it scares them to a degree. So that's why, he's been in some spots here where it seems like people want to get rid of him. But, man, can still run by you for big plays. An extremely good route runner. He's smart. He's smart. The offenses he's been in with the Saints, the Patriots, and the Rams, you got to be smart to be able to play wide receiver in those units. So he certainly could help out a football team. And I'll be interested to see if they can really get a second-round pick for Brandin Cooks. That'll be an interesting one. I feel like they could probably get a third for sure. Second, I think it'll be a little bit of a different story.
Well, and you could do and I still think teams should do this more often. We saw it last year with Carson Wentz in the trade that sent him from Philadelphia to Indianapolis, a future pick that is tied to what the guy does in this season, whether it's tied to performance, playing time, whatever. You have conditional picks. Teams don't like to tie their hands with conditional picks. You could trade Brandin Cooks for a 3-23 that becomes a 2 if he starts more than 14 games or something like that, or if he takes X percent of the snaps, or if he catches 65 passes, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You could do that. I feel like teams resist doing that because then if you're the Browns, you've got both your third-round pick and your second-round pick for 23 tied up until we know which one goes to the Houston Texans.
Yeah, but
that may be the kind of flexibility you need. Because at this point, what's he really going to do for the Browns, and is it second-round worthy? If it is, you want the Texans to be protected. If it's not, you want the Browns to be protected. But that could ultimately be
him and Watson. Him and Watson, they tore it up 2 years ago. People forget about it before Watson got in trouble and all that. They had a pretty good damn connection going on.
When Quincy Avery, the personal quarterback's coach of Deshaun Watson, said not that long ago on the Ryan Russillo podcast that in 2020, Deshaun Watson was throwing to a bunch of guys who would have been working at Walmart, Brandin Cooks was not one of the guys who would have been working at Walmart.
No,
he is not one of those guys. It was not directed at him. It was directed at the rest of them, but not at him.
No, exactly right. Brandin Cooks is, one of those under-the-radar, really damn good players that – we don't quite put him in the top receiver conversation, the superstar receiver conversation, but he's one of those guys that's still, you can look at him and go, no, you can justify him being a number one receiver, and if he's not your number one, he's a really awesome number two, that's for sure.
The buyer beware on Brandin Cooks. Remember, he's had an extensive history of concussions.
Yeah.
I see that 2017 with the Patriots. Remember in Super Bowl 52, he got hit by Malcolm Jenkins early?
Right.
Blown up. I mean, blown up. And he's had at least 4 that we know of.
Yes.
So that's something to be concerned about. But he still had 1,000 receiving yards last year with Davis Mills and who else? Oh, Tyrod Taylor, right? Was it Tyrod Taylor and Davis Mills?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes, yeah. So 1,000 yards.
But
so
they're not. That's what's scary. You're right.
Something.
Teams don't want to give him the long-term contract, size, and the concussion history and all that. You know, it's hard to want to go, oh, okay, we're going to pony up and give a guy a big guaranteed, slot of money there. And when you go, man, maybe one more concussion. Because the last time he got his concussion, we were all a little bit like, ooh, that's a lot in a short period of time. Where's it going to go from here? Fortunately, he's dodged the bullet and hasn't had to deal with another one, but that would scare me, certainly, if I was a GM.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.